Deep inside a vast green forest lived a young deer named Arav. He was fast. He was gentle. But inside his heart lived fear. This is not a story about being fearless. This is a story about learning how to face your fear. Deep inside a vast green forest, where the sunlight filtered gently through tall sal trees and the wind whispered ancient secrets, lived a young deer named Arav. Arav was not like the other deer. He was fast, yes. He was gentle, yes. But he carried something heavy inside his heart, fear. Fear was Arav's shadow. It followed him everywhere. He feared loud sounds. He feared open spaces. He feared the river. He feared the darkness. And most of all, he feared himself, because he believed he was weak. The birth of fear. Arav's fear was not born without reason. When he was very young, just a fawn, the forest had changed forever. One terrible evening, the sky had turned dark too early. Thunder roared like an angry beast. Rain fell in sharp needles. Arav was walking with his mother when suddenly a tiger leaped from the bushes. There was chaos. Leaves flew. Birds screamed. The forest trembled. His mother pushed Arav away with all her strength. "Run," she cried. Arav ran. He ran without looking back. He ran until his legs burned and his breath broke. When the storm passed, Arav was alone. His mother never returned. That night planted fear deep inside his heart, fear that grew with him like invisible thorns. A life of avoidance. Years passed. Arav grew into a strong, beautiful deer with tall antlers and sharp eyes. Other animals admired him. But Arav avoided everything. When deer raced, he stayed behind. When they crossed rivers, he waited. When the forest grew silent at night, he hid. Other deer whispered. "He is a coward. He looks strong but runs from shadows. He will never survive alone." Arav heard every word. And every word made his fear stronger. The forest changes. One summer, the forest faced a terrible drought. The small ponds dried. Grass turned yellow. Food became scarce. The elders called a meeting. "There is water beyond the Black Hills," said an old stag. "But to reach it, we must cross the River of Roars." The River of Roars was wide, deep, and dangerous. Crocodiles lived there. The sound of rushing water echoed like thunder. Arav froze. That river was his greatest fear. He remembered the storm. The chaos. The feeling of losing control. "I cannot go," he whispered to himself. But staying meant slow death. The choice. That night, Arav couldn't sleep. Fear spoke to him. "You are not brave. You will fail. You will die." But another voice, soft, quiet, unfamiliar, also spoke. "If you don't face me, I will rule you forever." Arav realized something painful. Running had never saved him. Hiding had never healed him. Fear had taken his mother. Fear had taken his confidence. Fear had taken his life, piece by piece. Tears filled his eyes. For once, Arav whispered, "I will walk toward you." The journey begins. At dawn, the herd moved. Each step toward the river made Arav's heart pound. The forest grew silent as they reached the riverbank. The River of Roars stood before them, wild, powerful, alive. Arav's legs trembled. He wanted to turn back. Fear screamed, "Run!" But Arav remembered his mother's voice. Not screaming. Not crying. But protecting. He took one step forward. Then another. Facing the fear. The water touched his hooves. Cold. Strong. Unforgiving. The current pulled. Arav slipped. Panic exploded inside him. But then something changed. Instead of fighting the fear, Arav accepted it. Yes, he thought. I am afraid. But fear does not decide who I am. He focused on his breath. He felt the ground beneath the water. He moved slowly. Step by step. Halfway through, a crocodile surfaced. The herd gasped. Arif froze. This was the moment fear had promised him. Death. But fear did not win. Arif raised his head, looked straight ahead, and ran, not away, but through. The crocodile snapped, missed. The water splashed. And suddenly, Arif was on the other side. Alive. Standing. Free. The transformation. The forest on the other side was greener. Fresher. Full of life. The herd cheered. But Arif did not feel pride. He felt something greater. Peace. Fear was still there, but it was smaller. Quieter. Arif understood the truth. Bravery is not the absence of fear. Bravery is walking forward while fear walks beside you. A new role. Over time, Arif changed. He became a guide for younger deer. When they trembled, he told his story. When fear comes, he said, listen, but don't obey. The forest remembered Arif not as the fearful deer, but as the one who faced fear and survived. The final lesson. One evening, Arif stood near the river again. The sun dipped low. The water roared softly. Fear whispered. Arif smiled. I know you, he said calmly. And I am not afraid of you anymore. Because fear is not an enemy. It is a door. And courage is simply choosing to open it. Moral of the story. You don't defeat fear by running. You defeat fear by walking through it. Just like the deer. Your strength begins the moment you stop running.